all for coming today. Pete and I appreciate your time and generosity, and I want to talk a little bit about why we're here today. And I'm going to do it without crying. I am Jennifer Garzia, and I'm the proud mom of Rocco, Michael, and Kristen. 20 years ago, Pete and I walked into our local hospital in Malvern, Pennsylvania to start our family. After an uneventful pregnancy, we were excited to meet our new baby. Once I delivered Rocco, things fell offline quickly and many things were said. One being Rocco would not make it through the night, so Pete and I had him baptized. The next day, we were transported to the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, and after 30 days in the NICU, we came home with a diagnosis of Prader-Willi syndrome. And what is Prader-Willi syndrome? It is a random, non-hereditary genetic disease found on line 15 of your DNA. It occurs in 1 in 15,000 live births each year. PWS affects the hypothalamus gland at the base of your brain. This gland controls all of your primal needs. So people with PWS have an inability to feel full, which we call hyperphagia. They cannot regulate their body temperature. They have sleeping disorders, and it affects their entire nervous system. All of these things, along with global delays, make for a very complex and difficult disease. But a good doctor at CHOP told Pete and I that if there was one syndrome to get, it was this one. If there was a syndrome to be hopeful for, it was this one. Because if they're going to find treatment for this syndrome, it can fix or it can help the rest of society. So Pete and I do what we do best, and we got to work. We had every therapy, specialist, and program that was available for Rocco, with the hopes that science would back us up soon. As we continued to wait, we started school and quickly realized systems were much harder to access for Rocco than what we had anticipated. His aggressive behaviors, fueled by anxiety around food, caused school districts to react with restraints and seclusions. Although I had lawyers, advocates, specialists, we could not get the symptoms of the syndrome to subside enough for a school day for Rocco. Unfortunately, in May of 2019, while attending a special needs school, Rocco was restrained to the point of distressed breathing and rushed to the hospital. Pete was traveling full-time, and I had 2 little boys in school, while I drove to find Rocco crying and confused on the stretcher. At that point, Pete said we had to choose safety over education, and we pulled Rocco from the school system. The silver lining for my family was COVID. We were able to stop and rethink of how we wanted to approach our situation. And that exact time, like all things that are meant to be, Dorothea Lance from PWSA sent out an email that said they were starting a new program called the Parent Advocacy Program. And when I spoke to Dorothea, she said, I get it, Jen, our kids are dying, and we need to get to DC to talk to the people that can help our kids the most. So 3 years later, everyone, we have been to DC over 20 times. We now have a drug on the FDA's desk waiting for approval on December 27th. That drug is DCCR, and they are a sponsor for us today. We also have 5 drugs in clinical trial, and one being carbetocin by Acadia, who is here today. Claire is here today. So we have hope in our community, and the money raised today will go towards the parent advocacy team at PWSA USA so that we can continue to work on a federal level to bring awareness and education. Rocco is my miracle, and I love him, warts and all. And I remind him daily that everyone in this room and society has problems. But Rocco and his community are not afforded the luxury of privacy. We need to tell Rocco's story and everyone that has PWS so that we can get the help they need, so that we can adjust the systems, so that they can access the resources they're entitled to in society. Again, Pete and I thank you all. I thank all of the sponsors for coming, and everyone here I know has a full heart. And I'm not quite sure how I got here 20 years later, but I'm thankful that Pete has always held the line for our family through the storms, and it's a thankless job, but I see him. And I'm thankful for my boys and all of you here today, all of the sponsors, Terry Wilcox for coming for Patients Rising. She's doing a grassroots effort on a local and state level to give us all voices, because we all need to be heard. I think that's it. Thank you all for coming.